Hello, everyone. This is Rob Williams here, the Director of Global Partner Readiness for Hitachi Vantara. I'm really excited that you're joining us today for a fireside chat around our latest announcement. I'll get into that here in just a moment, but I'm pleased to be joined by Sasan Moavini and Christine Brennan, two of our AI experts here at Hitachi. So we'll get into a discussion here and a fireside chat. The idea being for this event that it's a high level review of some of the things that we're talking about and particularly excited about here at Hitachi. And there's a ton of resources, obviously, that we have behind us at our hitachivantara.com site, at the partner portal. We'll talk more about some of those resources later. But today, we're really just wanting to have a discussion with you to try to help you understand what we're seeing in the AI market that's driving a lot of the discussions and the innovations that we're creating, what we're announcing now, and why that matters to you, our partner community, and then how can you engage, how can you leverage resources. So that's really the intent of the next few minutes that we spend together. Okay, so with that, let's jump right in. Sasan, let's start with you. I'm wondering, as we kind of look at the marketplace, what are some of the things that we're seeing that are driving a lot of our innovations around Hitachi IQ?
Hi, Rob, and thanks for the opportunity to be on this call and to address our partners because they're going to be key in this in our joint success in the AI market. As you mentioned, Rob, we've just come back, both Kristen and I, from the supercomputing show in Atlanta, and it was an amazing event, and it really helps crystallize the momentum behind the AI market, but also some of the challenges that customers and partners are thinking about when they're trying to go after AI opportunities. So on the slides, you can see some of these areas of concern that customers have, and of course, we and our partners need to help address. Some of them are obvious. So, for example, AI projects like any other project, what is the right use case to implement and how are you going to get ROI from that? At the end of the day, there is no point doing it if you're not going to get a return on your investment. Then do you actually have the data and is your data of the right quality to be able to implement whatever use case it is that you decided upon? And also, do you have the skills? Do you have the expertise? We all know that at the moment there is a general scarcity around AI skills in the marketplace. Now, of course, if we are honest, no single company can address all of these areas of concern. So, for example, the regulatory framework is continuously evolving with things like the EU AI Act that just came out recently. And these regulatory frameworks in different geographies will continue to evolve. But the consistent message that we heard from our partners is that having an integrated solution wrapped around with relevant services such as Hitachi IQ will go a long way in helping our customers and partners to be able to go and take advantage of this exciting market opportunity, which is the AI market at the moment. So the announcements that we made, which we will talk about as we go through this chat, were
Yeah.
really generated a lot of excitement, and it was very encouraging for us as a Hitachi Vantara team who were at the event to to get the feeling that we do have a message that really resonates with the marketplace and helps address many of the concerns that we are seeing on this slide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that. I'm excited about that. I can't imagine the partners that are looking at this slide today can't find a fit within some of their customer base as to
Yeah.
where they would fit in this area. Christine, did you have something to add
Yeah.
there?
No, for sure. I think they all could relate to some of these. I would also highlight that ROI uncertainty piece.
Hmm.
I think the
Yep.
first couple years we had a pass. Customers had, oh, you got to buy, right? And now the line of business must have that ROI. And we here at Hitachi Vantara, we understand that. and we'll talk about it more in terms of our whole stack, but that's where we have to hone in on that ROI, create the right solution so that line of business person, who's usually the one you have to go and bring such solutions to, can showcase that ROI in short order.
Absolutely. Thanks. That's a great ad. So let's get into this. You both literally just got off the plane from supercomputing. I know you're just jumping back into the business. Pretty exciting time there. But what did we announce there specifically to kind of solve some of those AI dynamics that we're seeing on the previous slide? Sasan, will you start off there?
Yeah, sure. So let me maybe take a step back, Rob, and actually give the chronology of all the announcements
Good.
that we made in this space since the beginning of this year. So first of all, in March at NVIDIA's GTC event, both Hitachi Vantara and Hitachi Limited, and this is important, made announcements regarding the expanded partnership with NVIDIA. Then, from a Hitachi Vantara perspective, we followed up from that March announcement, and on July 25th, we announced the general availability of Hitachi IQ as an integrated solution stack with NVIDIA's DGX as a reference architecture. And that was following us successfully completing the BasePOD certification test that NVIDIA have. And we exceeded all the results that are required to pass that particular test. So basically, we announced a reference architecture that was best in class from a performance perspective. And then rolling the clock forward this week on Tuesday, the 19th, we announced the general availability of the IQ stack with HGX GPU platforms. The distinction is that the DGX is a reference architecture, so it's a meet in the market model. Whereas what we announced this week is something that our partners can basically get all of the stack components from us, from Hitachi Vantara. So one-stop shop. And it helps the business, it helps the transaction be smoother and easier. And on top of that, and again, I know this is something that we're going to talk about, we did announce in July a AI discovery service, which goes directly to addressing the ROI and use case question that all customers have in terms of, okay, I know I have to do something around AI, but what exactly is it that I should be doing? So basically, we can help our customers make that upfront decision from a business perspective. We can then help them in their implementation from a infrastructure perspective by providing the IQ stack, as well as all the services that go around it, up to and including actually developing and implementing the use case, and if it's necessary, wrapping the whole thing in a managed service and a consumption model that works best for the customer. So that's
Wow, Sasan, you've just completed the presentation. I think
what we presented.
That is fantastic. That's a great recap. Let's take a step back. We'll get into, so Sasan covered a lot there, right, with respect to the stack that we've put together, some of the services that we're driving. Let's kind of start to break some of that down. And maybe, Christine, you could kind of walk us through this slide, talking about what stack we're now skewing up in our systems that the partners can resell at this point.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I mean, this is super exciting. This is now channel ready, right? And so we can take this to our channel partner and grow with our channel partner. On the left side is more about the infrastructure, but we're not just stopping there on the infrastructure side. We're of course understanding this is a solution, but let's start on the infrastructure side, right? So we also understand that this is a customer journey. Each of the customers are on their own journey, Rob, right? They might be early adopters, they might be in the middle somewhere, still trying to prove their ROI, or they might be wanting to buy 100 and something GPUs today because they've been already doing this. Well, we built that infrastructure to meet those customer demands, no matter where they're at on their journey, right? Which is ideal for channel, right? Because each one of these customers are going through the channel as well. So what's in this, right? We wanted to provide you guys a single vendor approach. So in other words, like Sasan just mentioned it, one-stop shop for from a GPU down to the object storage level. And we can go into even more why we're unique there. But a single vendor approach, which means that on the top there, we have the GPU, which is called Hitachi IQ with NVIDIA HGX. Then we get down to the Mellanox level, the AI Enterprise, which we all can do. We can put that on the single paper, as well as the Hitachi Content for File. If you're not familiar with it, it's the all-flash NVMe storage product that feeds that data up into the GPU, that NVIDIA HGX box, right? So that NVIDIA HGX box is not waiting for data, right? And it's been BasePOD certified. It's NVIDIA BasePOD certified. It meets the criteria and actually best in category. And then, of course, it can tier off to object storage. But the other thing I don't want to forget, Rob, is that because we have understood the customer journey, right? Kind of the entry level, the mid, and the high end, we have that whole thing, but we also have considered the storage layer for each one of those motions, right? So at the high end, you got the HGX box going with HCSF because it's BasePOD certified, right? On the mid-range, we're developing MGXs and OVXs with our VSP1 storage products. And on the lower end, we have a 2 GPU box, right, that works ideally with some of our block and HNAS VSP1 products. So we have this whole journey, this whole infrastructure from the entry to the high end, and we're not forgetting about the storage. A lot of customers, a lot of vendors are forgetting about the storage. Well, Hitachi Vantara is not, right? And on the right side, yes, sorry.
And Christine, let me just jump in there for a moment. So what I heard you say, just terrific data background. Partners, you can jump in wherever you want with whatever size customer is driving your AI discussions today. Christine has just walked through this entry to enterprise kind of stretch that we can solve with this announcement here this week.
Yeah, spot on. And on the right side, we're building solutions. So we understand there's a whole ecosystem of AI ISVs out there that we're bringing on board, such as Scream and some other ISVs that just run beautifully right on top of that infrastructure. But of course, we have our own IP. Hitachi has a long history of building IP and software and solutions in many of these domains that we'll talk about in a little bit. So we can go extremely deep if we need to from an IP perspective, where we literally build your own training model if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Great discussion. So let's talk about that AI services piece that both of you have talked about, and then both of you please weigh in here. I think that's so important because a lot of times, of course, our partners are out. Every customer is talking about AI. So it's not a matter of that it's a market discussion that needs to be started. It's just more of how can we help? How can we assess? How can we determine what services really come to play and what solutions really matter to that space? So can one of you jump in and kind of talk about that services play?
Sure. So I think, most of the time, Rob, when people talk about services, intuitively, people think, okay, there is a service that can help me implement something. And of course, that is true. And we can do that as well. But before you can get to that point, and if you want to really relate it to a business need, you need to literally discover, okay, what is the specific business need that I can apply AI technology to that will deliver me a return. It will make me generate more revenue, or it will optimize my process. It will make the life of my employees easier. However way you want to measure return, first of all, you need to determine what is that solution that you need to implement. And the AI discovery service is targeted at exactly allowing our customers to do that. It is a short engagement. It's about 3.5 weeks. It is designed to be delivered remotely, but of course we can do it in person as well if that is the wish of the customer. And what you see on the slide is the output that comes out of that engagement, which clearly lays out okay, based on the discussions we've had, based on the priorities that the customer has expressed in terms of their business, but also critically based on the availability of data, these are the use cases that make most sense for this customer. And when I say these, if you look at the kind of the middle of the slide, you see this kind of matrix there. It looks a little bit like the magic quadrant. And the use cases are clearly listed there. And then the ones that are going to deliver the best ROI, but also have the data availability and are the easiest to implement are clearly identified. So it gives you an AI use case roadmap. And then if you move to the right-hand side of the slide, you see basically a project plan. Because
Yeah.
once we've completed this engagement, as part of this, we also say to the customer, okay, we can now come and based on their willingness, of course, to move forward, we can then move to the next phase, which is proof of concept, proof of value, and hopefully after that into a full-scale implementation. So this AI discovery allows you to get over the question of, yeah, but AI is great, but what should I do? What would work best for me?
Yeah,
Now,
That's what a
yeah,
lot of customers are asking, right? Is how do I
exactly,
actually
absolutely.
move forward with AI?
Yeah,
I know it's important, but how do I move
yeah,
forward?
exactly.
it gets back to that ROI, right? If you don't do this step, the customer's not gonna likely get their ROI. So
That's a really
we
good point.
understand that journey, right? You got to start here. We're not starting from an infrastructure, buy my infrastructure. And we want to do that with channel, right? We can augment this service with channel. Some of the channel partners won't have anything of this, some might have a little of it, but we all know we need to start here. So we'll work together with channel partner to both benefit, mutual benefit. And I'll also jump on and say too, is that we're not just stopping here. This is going to continue to grow. This is this AI consultant type portfolio that continues to get built out.
Ah, it's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's a huge add. That this is evolving as we speak. Probably even on this phone call, we've had a new development in this space. AI is just growing so quickly, as we all know. So to Christine's point, this isn't the end all be all. It's certainly a massive step for partner inclusion that we're excited about. So great. We talk about this idea of Hitachi having a end-to-end or a AI lifecycle experience. Sasan, could you just take a few minutes? And I know we're a bit short on time, so we won't go into huge detail here, but I think this is really important for our partner base to understand what we mean by that, because that creates some exclusivity for us in this space, correct?
Absolutely. I think this slide really encapsulates, Rob, what makes Hitachi unique.
Hmm.
So I'll talk, as you mentioned, quickly about each of the kind of the bullets on the slide. But the first point I want to make is this is not meant to be a all-inclusive kind of closed loop, meaning there are entry points along the way. However, this gives the overall picture of what Hitachi can do. And let me give you an example. So we all know that, of course, as well as Hitachi Vantara, which is kind of the IT, the digital arm of Hitachi, Hitachi also has many companies with vertical market expertise. And you see Hitachi Energy and Hitachi Rail on the slide. Why is that important to our partners? Right now, we are engaged in an opportunity, and both Christine and I are in this opportunity actively, where we are working with a power transmission company who are looking to optimize their operations and to meet the regulatory requirements utilizing AI. Now, of course, Vantara can help them from a technology perspective, absolutely.
Mhm.
But Hitachi Energy have vertical market expertise. So they can actually go to this customer and speak the energy language in terms of, okay, how can we optimize your simulations? How can we help you optimize your energy trading activities, etc., etc. So this is what we mean by Hitachi can bring vertical market domain expertise to the table.
Mhm.
On the services side, we just talked about the AI discovery. Of course, as I mentioned, we can also help with proof of concept, proof of value, full-blown implementation, managed services, etc., etc. And again, Hitachi has companies, we have sister companies within the Hitachi group that can enable us to do that. Data is extremely important in AI projects. You may have all sorts of ambitions about what you want to achieve with AI, but unless you have the right data that you can get to and it's of the right quality, you're not going to be able to implement anything. And again, we
Yep.
can bring to bear tools that allow you to do that. And of course, last but not least, we talked about Hitachi IQ, the integrated infrastructure stack, which kind of completes the picture from domain market expertise to an integrated platform and everything in between that allows our customers to implement a successful AI projects. And this is the unique value of Hitachi.
It's fantastic. Christine, anything to add to this slide before we kind of jump into the vertical market specifically that we're supporting?
Yeah, no, thanks, Rob. I think the only thing to add is on the data pipeline, like Sasan was talking about, data creation, data prep, it is crucial. And we might have talked about it in the challenges, but I also want to say is we're not also approaching this as just all Hitachi, right? We're just trying to showcase that we have this one Hitachi approach and we have expertise in all these areas, and we don't want to not take advantage because the domain expert, like Susanna was mentioning, is so key. But we also want to tell channel partners and others and customers that we work with the ecosystem. So we have a list of technology partners like NVIDIA and others like Scream. And other data management type ISVs that we are already working on and will continue to onboard. So it's an ecosystem out there to truly get to a customer's solution from an AI perspective is going to take an ecosystem from VARs
of which our partners are, which our channel partners are a part, right? I mean,
exactly.
Your value as a channel partner into this expertise, linear expertise that we have brought to this play is critical, and that's where I think we're all three very, very excited. Is that we feel like we've reached a point. To Sasan's point, obviously we launched IQ back in March. We've evolved in 8 months, is it? I mean, this market moves so fast. But the reality of it is we've got this solution now to a point where it's a great fit, a great time for you to jump in and be additive to this value proposition that we can together take to the customer base.
Exactly.
So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about where, back to Sasan's point, right? We have some domain expertise. And the reason why I'm particularly excited about this slide is because it calls out vertical market expertise, which I think is critical. I expect most of our partners have some level of play in some of these areas, right? So there's that. But then there's also this idea that we do have additive value specific to these industrials that we think is helpful as you're going to market, you're trying to engage customers in these spaces. So do one of you want to talk a little bit more about this slide?
Sure, I can start, and Sasan, jump in, please. Let me talk about use cases, right? So let me give you examples of actual deals we were doing, right? And I would claim that this took a whole team of Hitachi and the stack, of course, and then that domain expert that Sasan was alluding to on the previous slide. Take transportation. We have a Hitachi Rail company, right? A subsidiary of Hitachi. And we built a full preventive rail transportation solution for an East Coast company that was highlighted in InnoTrans, which is an event a couple of years ago. But it's preventive maintenance with edge devices that go back into the data center and literally within seconds we can fix the problem before any disasters happen. And that we couldn't have gotten to that, I think, level without that domain expert that we spoke about. Sasan spoke about the energy one, right? The smart power grid optimization grid that we're working on. Probably couldn't get to this level of detail, Sasan, if you would agree with me, without having Hitachi Energy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And the other ecosystem partners. And in the manufacturing, we did a fleet management where again, preventive maintenance on their trucks. It took 2 years to do that actually, and we did their training model. So we've been actually doing AI for longer than what we're announcing here today, but it took 2 years, and that was Hitachi R&D building out that that fleet management, preventive maintenance. So just a snapshot of examples.
Yeah, for sure. And the message you're really, both of you are really bringing to this discussion is there is a muscle behind our AI play that is significant that you can leverage. If you're having transportation discussions, we can engage and we can help you with that. We can help you kind of take that forward. So I'm particularly excited about the domain expertise bit, because I think that's something, it goes back to nobody else in the world can do this in the AI space today. We've brought the technology and the domain expertise, and there's nobody playing in that space. So you've got that kind of exclusivity as you take that to your customer base. So we've talked a lot about, hey, here's the opportunity. I'm hoping that the partners listening to this now are saying, I think I know where to jump in with some of my customers. How do I jump in? How do I leverage Hitachi and their expertise that Christine and Sasan have been talking through here for the last few minutes? Sasan, this is your team. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, be happy to. So at the beginning of this financial year, Rob, we created AI incubation team within Hitachi Vantara. And this team has one mission, and that is to help take our AI value proposition, which is centered around Hitachi IQ, to market. And of course, that is to help our field sales, partner sales, and of course, our partners to take that message to market. We have sales and technical resources in each of the geos in which we operate. So Americas, APAC, and EMEA. We have sales specialists, we have technical people who can engage with the customers and partners, and then be the conduit for additional resources, whatever they may be, from across the spectrum of Hitachi Group companies. And we have obviously picked the people who had relevant background, but we've also invested time and effort and money in their development. So we have a team that can really add value to our partners and to our field sales in their AI discussions. You can reach this team. There is the email distribution list for the team on the slide. You can go through your partner managers. Whichever route you have into Hitachi that you prefer, please utilize it. But this team is there to help, and that is our single mission, basically.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And yeah, we try to make it easy. This one alias is about as easy as it gets, but of course, partners have partner account managers, as Sasan mentioned, so there's plenty of opportunity to just engage that way locally. So with that, let's talk a little bit about, back to the earlier point of, we always have resources, a lot more in depth of what we've covered today. We really wanted to just give you an opportunity to share in our excitement about what we think the market is ready for from a partner engagement perspective. But of course, we've got some sales resources, right? We've got FAQs, we've got customer presentations, we've got thought leadership blogs, we've got things that you can use to educate yourself and of course, drive out to your customers as well from a resource perspective, inclusive of use cases. We're doing deeper technical reviews across the board with respect to some of the reference architectures that Christine and Sasan have mentioned. And then we have a through partner marketing campaign. Most partners are familiar now with Partner Marketing Hub. That's our partner customizable resource, that lead generation resource that we have in place for you at the Partner Marketing Hub. Make sure that you leverage that. We've got a campaign sitting out there as we speak for you to take advantage of. And of course, all these resources can be found at the partner portal alias that you see below. So with that, I am ready to wrap up here. Thanks so much for spending time with us. We're particularly excited about what we've just announced. And as Sasan and Christine said, this is moving fast. We'll be back with another chat probably in a real near future to speak about more things that we're bringing to market, bringing into that stack to increasingly add value for you going forward. So as we wrap up, Sasan, Christine, anything else you'd like to share before we close out here?
From my side, Rob, first of all, thanks. I'd like to thank you and also thank any of the partners who take the time to view this. You mentioned at the top of the presentation that we've just come back from supercomputing. This was supercomputing and it was super big event. This is happening now, and it's really incumbent on all of us to take advantage of this opportunity. So please engage us and let's go get our fair share of this market.
Yeah, spot on, Sasan. This is a momentum that is not going away. You saw it on the showroom floor, right? And then I'll add on to that is what we've done, in my opinion, is made our AI stack channel ready. So you can buy this simply with one vendor. We will support with one vendor, and you got one PO, all that stack from GPU down to object storage with Mellanox network piece and AI enterprise in between. So yeah, channel ready is what I think I want to leave it with.
And as the global partner channel readiness guy, could not be more excited to hear what you both have just said. It's really exciting. If you can't feel the excitement with us, I think you're missing something, because we are so happy to have this out to our partner base. Please engage Sasan's team. Let's go out and sell successfully together. Thank you very much. Good selling to you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.